Welcome to our deep dive, and today we're going to explore, you know, blood transfusions, but not just like the medical procedure. We're going a little deeper here. So you sent us some transcripts. They
Yeah.
were from YouTube,
Uh-huh.
Russian language YouTube,
Interesting.
and it was people under hypnosis
Wow.
talking about what they think about blood and blood transfusions, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, sounds fascinating. We're going beyond the purely physical here
Yeah.
into the subjective
Yeah.
experiences and interpretations.
Right.
Should be thought-provoking.
Yeah, you might like this next one. A lot of these people talked about something called blood memory.
Okay.
So imagine if your blood didn't just like carry your DNA, but it had like your whole life story in it.
Wow.
All your experiences, your emotions, even like your essence. So it's like your blood holds the story of you.
Hmm. That's interesting. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like they see blood as like this vital energy, like an elixir of life.
Yeah, I'm seeing a theme here too. They're saying it goes way beyond, just the biology.
Right.
One person even said that they saw the blood cells like a warrior army, constantly moving and fighting for life, which I thought was a powerful image.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's break down this elixir of life idea. So when they were asked to like picture blood from, healthy versus unhealthy people,
Okay.
there was like a really big difference.
Oh, interesting.
So healthy blood was like vibrant, flowing, full of light, like reds and pinks. It's like they're seeing like good health in the blood itself.
Yeah, I see. And how about the opposite? What about the unhealthy blood?
Well, that's where it gets kind of dark. They described it as sluggish and stagnant. Some even said like sewage and like rusty colors. It's like they see like the sickness and the energy of the blood.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. One person even linked like the decline of somebody with cancer to this change in their blood's energy. They said there were no living cells, and it was like the person was being translated into like another form of existence. It's a pretty
Wow.
big connection they're making between blood and life force.
Wow. Yeah, that's heavy. So speaking of energy,
Yeah.
what happens when, blood transfusions come into play?
Right.
What if blood really carries like all this information and energy? What happens when it's shared with another person?
Well, that's what these people under hypnosis were talking about. They were saying that blood transfusions are a way to get knowledge and gifts from the donor.
Hmm.
That can lead to like changes in the person who receives it.
Like physical changes and subconscious.
Yeah, both. It's like
Yeah.
this hidden exchange of information.
Yeah, that's a really interesting concept. One of them even questioned if blood transfusions could transfer personality traits. And they even mentioned some stories they had heard where people, changed their behavior after a transfusion.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about what they said about how transfusions, affect people subconsciously. So some visualized it as like this clash of energy, making the recipient feel kind of weak or uneasy. Do you think maybe our subconscious like picks up on this, like this new energy coming in?
That's a really interesting idea. It makes you wonder about, energetic compatibility. Like if blood really carries that individual energy, maybe finding a donor whose energy, works well with the recipient is super important.
Right. Yeah. One of them described transfusions as like a gift of life force, but they said it was really important for the blood to be a good match for the person receiving it. Like there needs to be some kind of harmony.
Yeah, like I get that.
Hmm.
So what about the donors themselves? What do they have to say about how giving blood affected their own energy?
Well, some of them saw it as like a neutral thing,
Okay.
even beneficial in a way.
How so?
Well, they said, giving blood makes your body create new blood, so maybe it helps you live longer.
Oh, interesting. Like a renewal.
Yeah, but others said they felt this like temporary drain on their energy after donating. They felt like donors need to be, physically and mentally strong to handle it.
Right. So informed consent is key. Donors need to know what they're getting into.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting. They talk about an energy connection forming between the donor and the recipient. A lot of them described it as this phantom overlay or a feeling of being like blood brothers.
Wow.
And some even thought it could last a lifetime, affecting future interactions, even suggesting they could reincarnate together. What do you think about that?
Whoa. That's a pretty wild idea. Imagine carrying around a piece of someone else's energy with you. It could really impact your life and your path. a fascinating and profound concept.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it really does make you think about how connected we are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if just sharing blood can link our energy, what else connects us that we don't even realize?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's switch gears for a second, talk about blood types. You know how type O negative is like the universal donor?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, one of the subjects had this like really interesting take on that.
Oh, okay. What'd they say?
They said that type O negative people have this like primordial energy.
Primordial.
Yeah, like a base energy. It lets them share their blood freely, but they still keep their own like unique energy. It's like type O negative blood is like the source code adaptable to any system.
Hmm. That's a cool way to think about it.
Hmm.
It kind of brings up this whole thing about the ethics of transfusions, right? Like, obviously, informed consent's important, but these transcripts make you think about, like, what else is being exchanged, beyond just, like, the physical stuff.
Totally. One person even said that people might choose not to have transfusions if they knew about this possibility of, information and energy being transferred.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, like, do we need to rethink what informed consent means when it comes to transfusions? Like, it's not just about the medical risks, but maybe also the energetic and spiritual side of it, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we need to be more aware and treat blood transfusions with more respect, you know, recognizing that blood holds like a blueprint, an energetic blueprint.
Exactly. And that brings us to this idea of blood contracts that some people brought up, like a possibility of negative energy,
Mhm.
being passed through transfusion.
Oh,
One person described people with bad intentions donating blood to spread, like negativity, or even try to like control others.
no, it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, it's a little freaky. It makes you wonder about the security of, blood donations and the screening process. Like, how do we make sure the intentions are good?
Yeah.
One person even described this disturbing vision of blood being taken from like dead people. They said that it loses its life force and carries the energy of the deceased person. They felt like it was like contaminated with bad energy.
Huh. It's like once that life force is gone, what's left in the blood? It really makes you question what we know about, life and death.
It definitely makes you think twice about where the blood comes from. But, not all the stuff about blood from the deceased was negative.
Oh, okay.
One person said the energy of the deceased um, fades quickly and it can still be a source of life for the recipient.
Oh, that's interesting. So, like, even though death leaves, some trace, the blood's not, like, permanently tainted or anything.
Yeah, they even said it could be like inheriting the energy of the person who passed. Like you get their wisdom and their experiences. It's a way of seeing how life and death are connected and how the energy of the deceased can, still impact the living.
Wow. That's really deep. It makes you think about the legacy we leave behind, right?
Yeah. Well, let's not get too sidetracked. We were talking about some of the potential positives. Remember how one person said visualizing healthy blood can, like, actually improve your well-being?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's all about the mind-body connection.
Right, like if what we think and believe can affect our physical health, could focusing on our blood's vitality, like, actually benefit us?
Yeah, that's what the transcripts seem to be suggesting. It's pretty fascinating.
They even talked about specific visualizations, like picturing your blood as this, like, bright flowing river, washing away negativity.
That's a nice image, like a cleansing.
Yeah, like giving your internal warrior army a pep talk.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it ties back to this idea that our intentions affect the energy of our blood. Like if the donor is giving from a good place, maybe their blood carries like a more positive energy.
Oof, definitely. Oh, and speaking of intentions, one person talked about blood oaths and blood contracts,
Right?
like using blood to make a binding agreement.
Interesting.
Yeah, they said these contracts can like create energetic links that last across lifetimes.
Whoa, lifetimes.
Yeah, influencing relationships and even shaping destinies. Like when you share blood, you're like intertwining your energy threads, creating a connection that goes beyond time and space.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. It reminds me of, those old traditions where blood was sacred and used for like serious agreements and strong bonds. But, there's always two sides to a coin, right?
Exactly. It makes you wonder if blood could be used to like manipulate or even attack someone energetically.
Right, like if blood holds our essence, it could be used for, good or bad.
One person even said that some people might be carrying like energetic imprints from past transfusions without even realizing it. And it could be affecting their, thoughts, their emotions, even like their health.
Hmm. That's something to consider. Like, we need to pay attention to our energetic hygiene.
Yeah, like just like we take care of our physical hygiene to stay healthy, maybe we need to learn how to, cleanse and protect our energy field too. Okay, so let's talk about the donor's energy for a sec.
Hmm.
One person said that donating blood can like temporarily weaken the donor's aura.
Oh, that makes sense if you think about the aura as like an energy field that shows our vitality.
Yeah.
So giving a part of ourselves, especially something as important as blood, it's understandable that it would, weaken that field a little.
Yeah, but they also said that taking care of yourself can help, you know, like eating well, resting, and doing things that make you feel good.
Yeah, self-care is so important,
Oh, yeah.
especially after donating.
Right. But get this, one person even said that giving blood can like kickstart your body's ability to regenerate, which could actually make you live longer.
Oh, wow. Really? So it's like a renewal process for the donor, too.
Yeah, like by giving a part of yourself, you actually become more vital. Okay, let's move on to something kind of controversial. Using blood from deceased people.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There are a lot of ethical, energetic, and even spiritual things to consider there. Some people were like really hesitant about getting blood from someone who had passed away. They thought it might carry the energy of death or even like a connection to that person.
One person even had this vision of like blood being drained from a dead person and their soul was like clinging to it as it was being taken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. It makes you think about like, is it ethical to use blood after death, you know?
Yeah, it's a big question. Like, at what point does blood stop being, life-giving and become something else? It makes you think about all these mysteries of life and death and what happens, in between,
Hmm.
at least energetically.
Yeah, but it wasn't all like scary. Another person had a more like neutral view.
Oh, okay.
They said that the energy from the person who died fades pretty fast and the blood can still be a source of life.
Oh, interesting. So, like, even though there's, some energy left behind from death, it doesn't mean the blood's like ruined or anything.
Right. They even said that getting blood from someone who's passed on can be like inheriting their energy. You can tap into their wisdom and experiences. It's a way of honoring, how life and death are connected
Right.
and how the people who've died can still, affect the living.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to look at it. It makes you think about the legacy we leave behind, not just, in memories, but maybe even in our blood.
Yeah.
Pretty profound.
So where do we go from here? If blood really has, information and energy and maybe even parts of our soul in it, how can we be more, careful and intentional about transfusions?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Okay.
It seems like we need to start seeing blood transfusions as more than just, a medical procedure.
Yeah.
It's an energetic exchange,
Right.
and it could have, some pretty big effects.
So that could mean like thinking about if the donor and recipient's energy is compatible
Yeah,
and realizing that it could affect us on a subconscious level and making sure everyone involved is, taken care of both physically and energetically.
absolutely. We need to have these conversations about the ethical and spiritual sides of transfusions,
Hmm.
respect what people choose, and really try to understand the mysteries of this, vital fluid.
One person even suggested that if you're going to get a transfusion, you should set some intentions.
Oh, like beforehand.
Yeah, they said that could affect how your body, takes in the donor's blood.
Makes sense. Like, we know our thoughts and beliefs can shape things, right?
Right. So by like picturing the blood as, healing and strong and being thankful for the donor, you might be able to make the energy of the transfusion more positive.
Interesting. Did they say anything about like what to do after the transfusion?
Yeah, they said it's good to do things that like cleanse your energy, like meditation, energy healing, even just spending time in nature.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, clear out any energy that doesn't, vibe with you.
Yeah, yeah. And for the donors, they said that giving from a place of, real generosity and compassion is super important.
Right. So focus on wanting to help and heal. That could like charge the blood with positive energy. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And they also said donors should take time to, get their energy back, rest, eat good food, do things that, make them happy and feel good.
It's all about respect, right?
Yeah, respecting the act of giving and taking care of yourself while you're, helping someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, this has been quite a deep dive. We've talked about everything from like fighting blood cells to, manipulating energy, and we've explored blood memory and even the spiritual side of transfusions.
Yeah. Blood is clearly like way more than just, this biological fluid. It's a symbol of life, and it carries information and energy, and it's full of mystery and potential.
It really is. So as we wrap things up, here's something to think about. If blood really carries the essence of a person, what does that mean for, who we are and how we interact with the world? Like, does sharing this, vital substance create a connection we don't even realize? Does it, like, blur the lines between us and other people? And how do we, approach all this with wisdom and compassion and respect for, how sacred blood is?
Those are some great questions to ponder, on your own and with others. This deep dive was just like the beginning of exploring this huge and fascinating topic. And as always, there's more to uncover and more to learn as we keep, digging into the mysteries of blood and what it means for all of us.